Clarity, peace, and joy to all of you. We are the spirits of the cards. We influence the shuffling of the cards by blending our energy and choosing the right ones for you at this moment. It is our best intention to give you guidance, not prediction. However, you are all your own best guides and navigators for making important life decisions. Never underestimate your own ability to make the right decision in any given situation. Let your emotions be your guide. If it feels good, you are on the right path. If it feels off, better pause and contemplate. Then listen to your inner self. You are the creator of your own reality. Always remember who you really are. You came forth to this time-space reality from one source, from pure positive energy, which we all call love. A reminder to everyone that has long forgotten. Ten of Wands. Too much to carry. Your workload is unreasonable, and still there is no certain reward ahead. Are you being used for others' profit? This card shows that you have already completed the circle of struggle. After spending too many resources and lots of energy looking for success, you have finally overcome the obstacles. Your hard work was worth it. Your efforts have finally been rewarded. You may find yourself living in a world of abundance where poverty and suffering have no chance to interfere. Although it sounds marvelous and satisfying, the card describes a lot of responsibilities on your side. You are now the only problem solver in your circle of family and friends, which could even drive you into another world of challenges. At this point, you are also flooded with responsibilities to maintain your success. The businesses that you have started are flourishing and keeping you alert and ready for anything that might happen. The main problem is that these issues could affect you if you lose control, which requires you to make sure that you know how to prioritize and solve the relevant ones. In the real world, this card expresses how people try to burden themselves with responsibilities after they attain initial success. It is like graduating from college, getting a job, and then starting to make it in the real world. More challenges keep coming. You may find yourself looking after your parents, starting a family, and at the same time look to others, which may make you feel as though you are not yet successful. It becomes a burden because at some point, you find out nothing is enough to accomplish all these duties. The general lesson of the card is that people should be moderate, prioritize and understand that they cannot solve everything. Some things must be let go, given to others, the burden shared. The lovers. Deeply felt mutual attraction for as long as it lasts. If it refers to another person, and it often does, that is someone who is on the edge of falling in love with you, if you just accept it. Well, it can happen whether you accept it or not. The person indicated is a lover. If you succeed to escape it, another will be the object of that love. The card may also point to a couple who are in love or about to be, none of them with you. Still, it is likely to have an effect on your life, good or bad, making you need to relate to it. If it is an event, which is not uncommon, then it is an opportunity for you to fall in love with someone who is just as likely to fall in love with you. A chance to love, simply. More than a chance, really. The card is most likely to indicate that it will happen, whether it is in your plans for the future or not. If it refers to you, it simply means that you are the lover, for the moment or always. You search for someone to love, or you have just found that special someone. It is not at all sure that this someone will feel the same for you, but the odds are on your side. Love is contagious. In any case, you will find yourself acting on that emotion wherever it leads you. Queen of Swords, mighty power and the knowledge of how to use it. Victorious even without going to battle. It is an example of an older, wiser feminine intellect. She could be thought of as the most masculine of all the queens, and may come off as quite serious and emotionless. This card represents the importance of making judgment without relying on emotion alone. It encourages you to look at all the facts before making a decision. This queen does have compassion, which is why she has her hand reaching outwards in offering. But she wants to connect to people using an understanding that is intellectual. This also means that you will need to become independent with your judgments. You must rely on the unbiased intelligence, which has you researching alternative viewpoints and thinking carefully on your decision. Compassion and empathy in these cases can distract you from your task, so try to keep a strong objective view while avoiding getting emotions involved. This can also be about the way that we speak with others. This queen has the ability to tell people the way it is. This allows her to get her point across, so there is no confusion about what is being said. Above all, truth is important to her, so she feels no need to soften her comments, thoughts, or opinions. She also expects the same frankness from other people. So this means that you need to be clear with everything that is being said, even if it may hurt. The High Priestess. Secrets and hidden circumstances stand in the way and need to be understood. If it refers to another person, which is mostly the case, it is someone who has the key to the solution but holds on to it unless you are deemed worthy, and your intentions are the ones approved. This is a person important to get on your side, but that can only happen if you prove to be on his or her side. You may not even understand what that covers. If it is an event, there is a complicated problem needing to be solved, almost like a riddle, and you must contemplate in order to see it. Others may not even realize that there is an obstacle, but if not recognized and dealt with, failure is certain, although it may come as a complete surprise and nobody knows why. If it refers to you, it means you are in a position to solve problems where others would fail miserably. You have the key, even if it is not even obvious to you. Your advice should be followed, but it is not sure to happen, since people just don't see what you see. Nothing to do about that. No number of words works on those who don't listen. Three of Swords. Does everything work against you? Is there no way to go without getting hurt? Take no step before paying attention to the warning. The Three of Swords represents the message of rejection, betrayal, hurt, and discouragement. In moments like this, we are well served by the mind. If you can think logically about it and prepare for the experience, the impact of this pain may be minimized. But remember too that pain and grief are a normal part of life because they make us appreciate what joy and happiness we have, as well as teaching us. It is through pain that we learn to avoid mistakes that could lead us into danger and grief. It is therefore a necessity in the journey of life. The Three of Swords, therefore, is a representation of suffering that is meant to make us stronger, more careful, and more observant. Sometimes life gives us no choice. We are knocked down. But what determines one's future is the choice of whether to remain knocked down or rise again. Each little piece of suffering you encounter serves as a stepping stone to find a deeper meaning in this world. This card comes at a time when you need to prepare yourself for this next stage in life. While the grief may be extremely hurtful, it enables you to forget your past and focus on your future, knowing that you have control of what actions you take afterwards. Do not think, speak, or write so much on what is troubling you, but instead, focus on what is approaching because you determine your destiny. 5 of Wands. Calamity that may be full of energy but can become costly. What seems easy at first turns complicated when ambitions collide. From the image on the card, the symbolism in the 5 of Wands suggests that there is form of conflict in one's life. This may be an existing conflict or one that is preparing and may eventually blow up in one's face. It may also portray a problem in communication, for example, in a situation where no one really wants to listen to the other, meaning that no agreement or understanding takes place. The 5 men may signify problems in a group of people who are not patient enough to listen to what anyone else is saying. They only want to be heard, and since none of the others will listen, they all argue at once. Much of this can be solved by the seeker taking the first step to try and initiate communication in such a way that you suggest that everyone discusses in the open what they have to say one at a time. By doing this, you will be able to address the problem and everyone will be heard, meaning they will all be satisfied. The 5 of Wands can also mean that you are or will be facing a competition in an area that you are not used to. This can be at work or school where you will meet people with the same abilities as you who create quite a challenge, leading to feelings of jealousy, greed, and envy. This card encourages that you accept the competition as a way for you to improve yourself without feeling any hatred towards them. This means that you should learn how to deal with them in a civil way. The 5 of Wands meaning could also be a personal struggle that you are dealing with on your own. This can be on a number of issues that affect you, hence, you need to address them and find a solution for them. You will need to identify where the problems are and offer a solution that will handle the case. Nine of Pentacles. Prosperity in so many ways. Time to lean back and enjoy the wealth, primarily the pride of having reached it. This 9 of Pentacles card indicates that the seeker has reached a stage in their lives where they are confident, independent, and self-sufficient. Through hard work, this person is now ready to enjoy money, leisure, and material comfort. The difficulties that were faced in the earlier journey appear to be over. The 9 of Pentacles brings not only joy, but also the feeling of security and freedom that material wealth can bring. Looking back, the seeker can now celebrate the difficulties, the struggles, and the hard work that lined her path. Her previous challenges gave her the wider perspective she needs to understand the spiritual value of her success. Knowing how difficult it was to get here, she intends to enjoy every single day that is given to her. Sometimes this card indicates that the seeker has not yet reached completion in their journey. There is something that is missing here, the element of her community and relationships. The gifts are meant to be shared, and yet this woman is so far from home. The 9 of Pentacles can also be about a specific time period of this person's life. This time is about self-discipline and grace. Diplomacy and grace will lead to the desired outcome. Ace of Swords. This is an exclamation mark, here for the principle of serious action. There is approaching need of it. Do something. As with all the aces, the Ace of Swords indicates that one is about to experience a moment of important discovery. With its sharp blade and representing the power of the intellect, this sword has the ability to cut through deception and find truth. In layman's terms, this card represents that moment in which one can see the world from a new point of view, as a place that is filled with nothing but new possibilities. It is therefore the best time to work on your goals, as all the aces give green lights and are signals of waiting opportunities and new beginnings. It might also be a good time for you to seek justice and the truth in all matters, since your conscience is clear and your thoughts are happening quickly. If you rise to the occasion, your sharpness and clarity in thought will be rewarded. When we look at the swords closely and see its double edge, we are also reminded that this sword may be either used for righteous deeds or to deal destruction. It all depends on the person and is a warning too that excessive power holds the danger to corrupt. If you stick with principles, the sword will serve you well. Death, a costly loss, sometimes but not always, the death of someone. If it refers to another person, which is quite rare, it is either someone marked by death or something harmful will happen, or it is a person bringing it. Such a person is an acquaintance that can be very costly to you, even dangerous. Be cautious. If it is an event, it is something that's sinister, though not necessarily death, happening in your surroundings. It may distress you more or less, but it is probably not happening primarily to you. Still, there is reason to be careful. If it refers to you, it may very well be a serious warning about your health or some other very serious problem already striking you. If you can change the path you are on, you should. It is a warning. It may also mean that you can cause problems, even serious harm to others. Three of Cups, celebration in the cheerful company of dear friends, a time to remember. The meaning behind the Three of Cups represents a period of happiness. You will be able to forget the worries of your daily life and spend quality time with family and friends. To see the Three of Cups can indicate a happy reunion with a long-lost friend, relative, or loved one. It can also mean a celebration, whether it is your own or for someone who you love. The event can be a birthday, wedding, or any other happy occasion. In general, it is about spending quality time with people you cherish in your life. The three maidens represent your circle of friends who you turn to for love, compassion, and support when you need them the most. It can be old college buddies, colleagues at work, or people you have shared a special bond over the years. If you have had problems with your social life, this card can signal the end of those hardships. You will be able to resolve differences and learn how to deal with the problem. Knight of Cups. Pride makes lousy armor, but we are all even more vulnerable without it. Make sure you do something to be proud of. The truth is that the Knight of Cups is the most feminine amongst all the Knight cards. It is important to note though that this doesn't even slightly suggest that he is any less of a worthy knight. It implies that he is in proper touch with his emotions and his intuition, and that he uses them for his own well-being and during his many romance and seduction quests. He is usually quite attractive and charming to others, regardless of their gender. When faced with an actual decision, the Knight of Cups is going to listen to his heart, regardless of whether this is actually a logical choice or not. He can also manifest as an event or a person in your life or a part of your own self. He appears as a messenger, and with him, he carries an invitation or an arrival of something or someone which is going to have a certain emotional benefit for you. As a knight, he is also charged with taking the gifts of his suit and bringing it outward into the world. He therefore can also represent the undertaking of some project with significant emotional or creative value for you. Ace of Cups. The ace is an exclamation mark. Now, it is all about feeling comfort in a time of sadness. Bliss is around the corner. Getting the Ace of Cups shows that it is time to let loose of whatever emotional baggage you have and start living your life to the fullest. Like with all the other aces, there is a new beginning that is indicated here, a chance to start fresh. It might come in the form of opening yourself up to the possibilities of new relationships, romantic or otherwise, that have the ability to make you emotionally fulfilled. The release indicated by this card may either be spiritual or emotional, depending on what you are going through. The Ace of Cups may come to a reading after a long period of being lonely or enduring something that deeply hurt you emotionally, and its appearance may be there to announce the turning over a new leaf. It is important for one to open themselves to more opportunities for friendships, love, and spiritual learnings. There is a chance now to put your past behind you, for you are being offered the gifts of the cups. It is up to you whether you take the cup and drink to the fullest. The Hermit, the lesson and reward, but also misfortune of being alone. If it refers to another person, which is often but far from always, it is someone refusing to get involved. He or she tends to go away in solitude whenever having the chance, and is most hesitant when approached by others. A difficult one to charm indeed. You and others wonder if that person is at all aware of your existence or cares about it. So, it is not one easily made to commit to any kind of companionship. If it is an event, it means that now is the time to retreat and contemplate the situation carefully. No action is appropriate for the moment. Give it time. Consider all the options. By time, a solution might appear. You should wait for it. If no solution appears, no matter how long you wait, you might do well to consider to leave the whole situation be. Do nothing about it and move on elsewhere. If it refers to you, it means you tend to isolate yourself from others, either just in the present situation or as a constant personality trait. You should know which one it is. You avoid company and involvement in the lives of others. You don't want to pick sides and make choices, at least not before you have had time to contemplate matters deeply. Others may react with outspoken impatience, but that will not change your mind. Actually, it only makes you more committed to listening to your own mind instead of their words. The Hanged Man, great personal sacrifice that still doesn't hurt much. If it refers to another person, which it often is, it is someone who is willing to make the sacrifice needed for things to find their solution, even if that sacrifice is completely unrewarded. It is an attitude worth admiring, but people tend to do so only secretly, keeping it to themselves. That may be out of guilt, knowing they should have volunteered to make that sacrifice. If it is an event, which is not that common, then it is one where a personal sacrifice is needed. It may be yours or someone else's. The question is, who is prepared to accept making it? If no one does, there will be no solution. If one does, whoever it is, things will be fine for everyone but the person making the sacrifice. Life is not always fair. The consolation for the one making the sacrifice, if anyone does, is personal satisfaction. That's quite something. If it refers to you, it means you are the one readily making any sacrifice needed, either in the present situation or as a constant personality trait. You have no fear of becoming the martyr, so to speak. Others will admire you for it without telling either you or anyone else, but they will also urge you on to make your sacrifice whenever the situation is such that there is something to gain from it. For all or just for them. Don't make your sacrifice for any little thing. 10 of Pentacles, intellectual stimulation, wisdom, knowledge, and the exchange of those with inspirational people. The 10 of Pentacles deals with permanence and satisfaction. The card shows that everything you have put your efforts into for a long time will pay off in the future. It suggests that everything will work out well in the end, for you have always kept the long-term picture in view, choosing to take no shortcuts. Your legacy is sure to stand for quite a long time to come. This is a relief, for the path to get here has been filled with setbacks and challenges, making this point of the journey even sweeter. In the card, the aged man is able to sit back and relax while watching the lives of his children and grandchildren. The satisfaction he derives from his achievement is connected in his children's happiness. The meaning of the 10 of Pentacles also relates to the happiness that you experience because you have planted many seeds of happiness and shared in the lives of others, particularly family members and relatives. It points to the importance of these people in your lives. The 10 of Pentacles symbolism is rooted in both financial success and stability. It shows prosperity and lack of financial struggle. It also asks you to make decisions that will not only have positive results in the present but also in the long term. The decisions that you make should produce positive results that last for generations to come, gradually benefiting to your family as well. Two of Pentacles, confusion. Your mind struggles with trying to make two seeming opposites combine. A contradiction that appears impossible to solve, but it needs to be. The Two of Pentacles is a card about balance. The coins are displayed in a manner that is unpredictable. Any small change in wind or weight can tip and send them falling. For those that may have more coins to go around, they can afford to be less careful. But at this moment, things may be tight. Wealth too is a kind of energy, and it is the kind whose goings in and goings out are easiest and most tangible to see. There is a possibility that you are trying hard to keep the two aspects of your life in a perfect and delicate balance. This could be your career, money, love, and health. The balancing act represented in the card suggests that there are two major factors that you are deeply concerned about. It is time for you to step back to have a better perspective of the situation. While you may initially think it will save you time, multitasking may just worsen the situation. Cut down on your tasks and concentrate on these two factors that are troubling you. You've done a good job keeping things stable, for you seem to be able to adjust well to all the changes that ask you to continually rebalance. When it comes to love, the Two of Pentacles is associated with your inability to provide the energy and time required to make your partner happy. Your partnership should be your main priority, but with all the madness in other areas of your life, you are finding it hard to devote your attention to your loved ones. With regards to finances, you should pay attention on the bottom line. You should have a clear picture on your financial state. Plan your finances accordingly, control your expenditures, and increase your stream of income to create a solid foundation for your future. In terms of health, this card is asking you to find a balance between your own well-being and your responsibilities. It is easy to make yourself the last priority when you have so many things happening around you. Temperance. Moderation in all is ultimate resolution. If it refers to another person, it is someone with the quality of temperance, the ability to patiently await the solution and never try to rush it. You may get impatient, even frustrated, but trust his or her tempo and try to slow down to it. If it is an event, which is mostly the case, it proposes extreme caution because the final outcome is not what first appears. If you have the patience to wait, your reward will be sweet and lasting. If you don't, then you are not likely to accomplish much at all. You might even make a bigger mess than what you faced in the beginning. The card can also simply imply that you have a time of inactivity ahead where nothing much happens. If it refers to you, it means you have stopped to act and learned patience for the thing at hand or for good. Time will tell. It can also mean that you find yourself unable to act, although you feel the need. Something holds you back. It may be irritating, but still it can be a good thing. Excessive speed should be avoided in most cases. Four of Pentacles. A self-obsessed mind caught by the brilliance of his own thinking. But thoughts can be shared without wasting them. The Four of Pentacles card is capable of generating both negative and positive perceptions. On one hand, the card signifies that you have successfully managed to accomplish much of your goals and you have managed to attain a significant material wealth in the process. However, on the other hand, there is a significant chance that you will start valuing things only for their material worth. You have worked hard to get to the point where you are now, and it is absolutely natural for you to desire to make sure that you remain stable. But this also has a chance to turn you into an overly possessive or greedy person who wants to ensure that no one is capable of taking away your own wealth. The Four of Pentacles is also a card which shows that you are currently in a position in which you have solid investments and that you are financially stable. Because of your newfound wealth, you are being particularly conservative about money, and you are most definitely not inclined to gamble when it comes to any kind of financial matters. You are protective of what you have managed to accumulate throughout time, and you desire to steadily increase your overall net worth. Be aware that without risk, there is no reward. If you spend too much of your time attempting to conserve, you may become a prisoner to your own material possessions. Wealth is a kind of energy as well, and we create what we express. The Tower, a spectacular ambition that ends with disaster. If it refers to another person, which is unlikely, it is someone capable of destroying things that seem as solid as mountains and hurrying to do so. It is a person who is victim of the destructive instinct. Although costly, it is necessary in the magnificent plan of things. What goes up must come down, and someone has to make sure of it. But of course, that person is a dangerous ally. If it is an event, and that is usually the case, it is the unfortunate end to an ambitious project. Failure. Probably, you aimed too high or lifted a weight that was far too heavy. It couldn't last. Should you insist on your ambitious goal, you must be prepared to do it all over from the start, and there will be additional obstacles to overcome. If it refers to you, it means you have a mentality that is bound for disappointment and complete failure. You need to change. You want to be serious about things that demand patience and care. Most things do, at least the important ones. You might have reached the end of your patience after a long time of setbacks, but still, your urge for decisive and forceful action is a mistake. Even if it is difficult, you need to calm down before you do something without careful consideration. King of Cups. Nothing wrong with being very pleased except for displaying it to cause jealousy. Take nothing for granted, not even yourself. The King of Cups is one of the most influential cards in the suit of cups. He represents creativity, emotion, and the unconscious. The card shows the ability to prevent one's emotions and be fully in charge of your feelings and impulses. Therefore, the King of Cups represents a balance between the intellect and emotions. He indicates that there is a strong relationship between understanding and feeling. When you have balanced your emotions and are able to control them, it means that you have a deeper knowledge and awareness of yourself. When you are faced with challenges that would normally throw you off balance, the King of Cups is there to remind you that you should act as he does. Do not fly out in a rage or immediately throw yourself into despair. You first need to temper the state of your emotions so that you can progress forward in reality. Learn to evaluate yourself so as to determine how you can create a stronger awareness of your own internal state. There are instances when the King of Cups can symbolize an older male who is in your life. This is a mature man who is willing to take responsibility for his actions and has mastered his own self-understanding. The King of Cups tends to be political and diplomatic, and this makes it possible for him to balance the needs of others and enhance the harmony among all parties involved. The King of Cups shows that you are sensitive as a leader and you are careful with the way others respond to your emotional needs. The King of Cups implies that you should remain mature when dealing with negative energy. The Magician, a sudden solution as if by magic, but it may be just an illusion. If it refers to another person, and that is usually the case, then that person is one who trusts that, so to speak, magical solutions. It is not the realistic approach, but the daring and the imagination of it may still actually work, at least for a while. This person may be impressive and seems to accomplish the impossible, but you probably have your doubts. You should. If it is an event, which is not that likely, it suggests a situation where the solution comes as if by magic, inexplicably. No logical approach would solve matters, but the absurd just might. Something totally irrelevant may prove to be the only relevant course of action. It is not altogether trustworthy, even if it seems to do the trick, but it may be the only remaining option. If it refers to you, then you are the one attracted to actions that may seem both irrelevant and a bit absurd. Your approach is unconventional, to say the least, but that is exactly why it might work, to everyone's surprise. But you should avoid applying that approach to things as a matter of routine. That just won't work. Know the time and the place for it and stay cautious of what it might lead to at length. The world of magic is not predictable. Page of Wands. Plenty of possibilities, so many that it is difficult to choose. Do something and you will prosper, but wait no longer. When we see the Page of Wands, we see a youth with enormous excitement and curiosity for the world. He knows what to do. He has the passion to succeed, but due to his inexperience and maybe a little fear of the unknown, his ideas remain non-realistic. He identifies new worlds to explore, new opportunities he could take advantage of quite easily, and he is even gifted with a big picture vision needed to succeed. Even with all of this, he still has a tendency to either remain in a deep sleep or get easily distracted with one idea after the other. If he doesn't learn to control this, it might be that he wastes the opportunities to advance himself. When you get the Page of Wands, it simply means something is within you, something that triggers you to make discoveries, allow yourself to enjoy in investments, or take the next advancement in life. You could be just about to take a move on a certain idea, but some conflicting messages keep coming to your mind and you get discouraged. This card matches your inner battles, which are preventing you from expressing your heroism to the world, to let the world know that you exist for a reason. If you are wise enough, this card is normally a trigger of courage. It should make you overcome the personal discouragements and move forward boldly to launch your ideas in the real world. Remove the fear, gather your resources and do something. Let the world know that you are there and you have no jokes about moving forward in the path that you choose. Conquer every obstacle, let your ideas shine and be known to the world, because this card indicates a level of success that can only be achieved when courage is used. Eight of Swords. Helplessly in the hands of others who seem to show little compassion. Cause for anxiety but not panic. The general meaning in the Eight of Swords is that of a feeling of being trapped and victimized. You may feel powerless because in your mind, you feel that changing the situation might be beyond you. This feeling of helplessness that you have, the feeling that you have no company in your life, has played a major role in making your situation worse. Surrendering one's power to an unknown entity, whether it is destiny or God, the government, or something else, means that you are giving away your own personal responsibility to affect change. You have willingly gave up the driver's seat in the journey of your own life, and it isn't going well for you. It is advisable for you to avoid making an important decision at this time, since your judgment is likely uncertain. The good news is that because these traps are things that we create ourselves, we can also leave them if we put our minds to it. It is simply the matter of taking off the blindfold and seeing beyond the limited perspective that we created for ourselves, to see the possibilities and to recognize that you have your own internal power. Seven of Swords. Betrayal right before the final battle. It may not lead to defeat, but victory is suddenly more distant. The Seven of Swords in general is said to be about betrayal and deception. When you get this card, it may suggest that you or someone else in your life is having difficulty getting away with something. There are instances when we are forced to be deceitful, hoping that we will not be discovered. When we are found out, we have to face the consequences, whether it is embarrassment, punishment, or worse. Sometimes this happens when there are instances when you had to make a quick decision and did something that was somewhat rude or out of character. Now there is a danger of the secret coming out. You may be tempted to disappear from somewhere, indicating a situation that is no longer working as expected. Instead of dealing with it, you choose to leave and hope that you will go unnoticed. Perhaps you were hoping that this issue would just resolve itself over time and you've neglected it, leaving it to only grow and get worse. The big question when looking at the Seven of Swords is whether escaping will solve this problem that you are facing. While you might be thinking that you have gotten away, you discover that the situation has cornered you and you are found out as you are trying to escape. There are instances when the Seven of Swords may indicate the willingness to go solo. You may have the urge to explore and discover some things on your own. This can be an effective approach if you want to declare your independence and bypass group agreement. The Seven of Swords symbolism may be encouraging you to go on this path. Sometimes innovation comes from a dishonest genius. Eight of Wands, possessions on the move, risking to get lost. Hard work that is costly but necessary to overcome several real obstacles. The image represented by the Eight of Wands means that the difficulties that were brought by the Seven of Wands are finally over. It signifies a strong level of energy which states that different aspects of your life will be new and innovative. Perhaps important news will be coming on your way, and you may experience a sudden yet steady positive growth. The Eight of Wands meaning may also pertain to your work. There is a chance that the decision that you are waiting for will come your way soon. You need to be patient and just wait for it. When it comes to love, the Eight of Wands meaning pertains to your readiness to be committed on a relationship. However, the card advises you not to force the other party to also be ready on the commitment. Your significant other will soon be ready. Forcing things to happen may affect the result negatively. In terms of finances, it appears like this is not the best time to make quick investment. Just like in your love aspect, we advise you to be patient. Save your money and wait for the perfect time to invest. All things that you fought for are building in momentum. Where you didn't see progress earlier, you'll soon discover that they paved the way for the coming wave of action. Page of Pentacles. Time to dream and let the fantasy go. That gives strength and opens for new possibilities. Be optimistic. When we meet the Page of Pentacles, we see immediately that she is one that is ambitious and focused. She is protected, nourished, and provided for. She is deeply tied to the earth, nature, and all of its gifts. She cherishes the body, for it too is something which is a manifestation of her element. Her diligence, ambition, and loyalty drive her to quickly make plans for the future, for it is there where her focus lies. When you meet her, she may be the bearer of news connected to all earthly and material matters. When you hear her message, be inspired as she is. Lay down the foundations to follow your ambitions. Generally, the Page of Pentacles refers to the kind of energy that you need to complete all that is needed for your work. It may point to the determination, focus, and the ability to stick with a particular task no matter how boring it may seem. In terms of work, The Page of Pentacles may signify that there are a lot of tasks you are responsible for, but your time to complete them is much too limited. This is not the time to feel stressed and overwhelmed. Assistance will be there for you. You just have to ask for it. In relation to finances, the Page of Pentacles can refer to the reward for your hard work. For those who are investing their hard-earned money, this is not the perfect time for you to take the risk. Invest your money in a safe and traditional way. The careful and constant effort will pay you back. If you are currently experiencing a health issue, this problem may be the result of the continuous neglect. Let a professional make sure that this is not the case. Queen of Cups. Stuck in obsession, what the feelings use to trap the mind and vice versa. It is not worth it. We can understand the meaning of the Queen of Cups from taking a closer look at the woman in image. She is seen as compassionate, caring, sensitive, and nurturing. She connects with people on the emotional level, so people enjoy her honesty and fairness. The appearance of the Queen of Cups in a reading can be guiding you to find help from others. Most times, like the other queens, this is a female figure that will come into your life. The Queen of Cups has an intuition which is very powerful and is only matched by the one of the High Priestess. The Queen of Cups acts as a mirror and reflects the depths present in others, so they see themselves in a new light. Most times, the Queen of Cups can also represent the trusted inner voice you have within you. She seems to say that you should take the time to focus on your emotional health before trying to help others. Self-love creates compassion. The Queen of Cups can also reflect your relationships with other people. You may be the emotionally strong rock that serves as an anchor for someone else. You may be here to help teach and support others using your intuition instead of logic. The Queen of Cups normally thinks with her heart instead of her mind. She can lack rationality and common sense, but she can also be intuitive, dreamy, and almost psychic at times. The Queen of Cups could be the answer to your problems when a logical approach is not working. The Emperor. You are up against real power, so yield or suffer the consequences. If it refers to another person, it is someone you just have to obey whether you want it or not. He or she has the power to decide the outcome, and it would cost you very dearly indeed to oppose. You are likely to be aware of this beforehand, since you know what power you are up against. If it is an event, you have to accept that the outcome is out of your hands. It is decided elsewhere and you just have to comply or suffer the consequences. As they say, you can't fight City Hall. If it refers to you, though, it says that you have the power to force the outcome of your choosing, but probably not without a fight. Don't worry, you will win it. The Hanged Man. Great personal sacrifice that still doesn't hurt much. If it refers to another person, which it often is, it is someone who is willing to make the sacrifice needed for things to find their solution, even if that sacrifice is completely unrewarded. It is an attitude worth admiring, but people tend to do so only secretly, keeping it to themselves. That may be out of guilt, knowing they should have volunteered to make that sacrifice. If it is an event, which is not that common, then it is one where a personal sacrifice is needed. It may be yours or someone else's. The question is, who is prepared to accept making it? If no one does, there will be no solution. If one does, whoever it is, Things will be fine for everyone but the person making the sacrifice. Life is not always fair. The consolation for the one making the sacrifice, if anyone does, is personal satisfaction. That's quite something. If it refers to you, it means you are the one readily making any sacrifice needed, either in the present situation or as a constant personality trait. You have no fear of becoming the martyr, so to speak. Others will admire you for it without telling either you or anyone else, but they will also urge you on to make your sacrifice whenever the situation is such that there is something to gain from it. For all or just for them. Don't make your sacrifice for any little thing. Ace of Pentacles. This card is like an exclamation mark. An idea is forming, demanding contemplation. It can lead to a lot of good things. The aces are all indicative of new beginnings. When you draw any of them, it means that you are at a point in your life where a new cycle is beginning. You are about to start once again. Because the Suit of Pentacles is primarily concerned with all things material, not just financial but also with the sensual. This new cycle could manifest itself as a new career, the undertaking of a new venture, or the start of putting more care into your health. Wherever this beginning takes place, the Ace of Pentacles assures that what is to come will bring great abundance and opportunity. To see the Ace of Pentacles indicates a seed being planted in the material world in your feelings of security and stability. Like a seed, this opportunity must also be nurtured and sometimes invested in with energy, time, or funds. Watering this seed has the potential to be very rewarding, for anything that is grown on this energy is meant to be stable, secure, and give a good harvest. Prosperity is coming your way. One also has to make sure that they are psychologically prepared for the opportunities that are appearing. To be able to harvest the gift of the Pentacles, we need to be filled with the calm that stability brings. This is a kind of spiritual prosperity, if you will. This kind of mindset can mean we become open to trying new things and not sticking to the old, washed-out routine. Four of Cups. Dissatisfaction. When you've had enough, what can pleasure you next? The question that brings on melancholia. The Four of Cups tend to appear when you are feeling discouraged and unmotivated. You may feel as if there is no solution or way forward in your situation. Life has become slow and nothing seems to make you happy or passionate. You are feeling uninterested regardless of what happens, whether the day is good or bad, none of it matters to you. The Four of Cups commands a self-evaluation of your attitude so that you can pull yourself out of this boring routine. The solution is likely right in front of you. The hand is offering you a way out. But you release yourself out of your mental stubbornness and use new approach. You must search your motives, instincts, and thoughts so that you can find your passion again. The Four of Cups revolves around finding your true interests and working towards fulfilling them. Our lives are short and sometimes monotonous, but we must create meaning for ourselves. Our individual callings are not just there for us to find, but to decide and to imagine. Eight of Pentacles. Work on the plan, think things through. You will prosper to the extent you take the trouble of being well prepared. This card indicates a time that you have to work hard and focus entirely on your tasks. This is not necessarily a negative situation, but this means that you must really strive to be the best. The task that you need to accomplish can be personal or professional. No matter what type of task it is, do not be afraid to ask for help when things get overwhelming. The Eight of Pentacles refers to the efforts that you undertake. There is a possibility that there will be a lot of things that you need to address. Hard work is essential, but you still need to find a balance. When it comes to work, those who are seeking employment should expect that the nature of their job will be demanding. The Eight of Pentacles also indicates that you need to be confident in yourself that you will be able to fulfill the job. For those who are currently employed, you will be responsible for carrying out more tasks and responsibilities. Never hesitate to ask the assistance of your co-workers. In terms of love, your work may possibly be affecting your relationship. Regardless of how demanding your job is, you need to make some time for your emotional connections with other people. On the matters of finances, the Eight of Pentacles may signify financial assistance that you have been hoping to receive. Be careful on how you are going to spend this money. Remember that this is a fruit of your hard labor and not luck. When it comes to health, the Eight of Pentacles can mean that it is time for you to commit and work hard in order to improve your health. You must stay observant about exercise and diet. The Moon, longing for the sake of longing and the hope of fulfillment. If it refers to another person, it is somebody who awakens your longing by seeming able to fulfill it. But that is not the likely outcome. Instead, your longing will probably be increased, which is not at all a bad thing, although frustrating at times. If it is an event, it is a moment when your longing is obvious to you and things happen that increase it. It can create a confusion of emotions in you, but you welcome it, though with some anxiety. At the very least, you are reminded of your emotional needs and the importance of trying to satisfy them. If it refers to you, it means that you are kind of a victim of longing. That can be temporary or something constant in you. You should be able to decide which one it is. There is little you can do about it. If you follow them, they grow. And if you refuse them, they still grow. It can be frustrating, but it does indeed make you feel alive. Others, though, may find you overly sentimental or obsessed. Three of Wands, missing the world and all the good things it has offered. The card of having partaken in something rewarding but now being passed by as if obsolete. The meaning of the Three of Wands hints that you are planning or going to plan for the future with more conviction. This could mean that everything around your plans is going smoothly as you have taken the time to plan for your future and are taking steps to turn plans into action. It hints that you are perhaps creating a stable foundation for yourself. The symbolism within the Three of Wands is that opportunities can take place to widen your horizons in many areas. It also is a warning to keep your mind open as better opportunities could open up to you. As you take steps towards achieving what you set out to do, you are also becoming more aware of opportunities that are coming your way. And this could take you out of your comfort zone. This pushes you to sometimes embrace change and to start thinking in the long term. The Three of Wands can show that you are in control and have a strong position, just like the character that overlooks and stands strong. The Three of Wands is one of the main cards of foresight and vision. Lastly, the Three of Wands meaning is that of travel in search of what you are seeking. There is a sense of leaving home, a journey that must be undertaken. Great things do not happen to those that simply wait for them. You must expand. For most readings, this shows that you may travel to a new land over the water and that you may find an opportunity during your travels. Knight of Swords, charging right ahead whether that is wise or not. That is the spirit by which many battles are won and lost. When we are thoroughly obsessed by a certain idea and strongly wish to manifest it, we are oftentimes so blinded by the actual desire for its fulfillment that we fail to note the difficulties which we may come across or the actions and consequences that it could bring. The Knight of Swords is a very powerful figure that is full of life as well as energy. This needs to be balanced with a proper and actual realization of compassion and responsibility. Once the knight sets forth towards his goals, there is absolutely no stopping him. He doesn't see and he doesn't care about any upcoming challenges. He is filled with absolute ambition, strength, and determination to succeed with his quests no matter what. However, this determination could also blind him to see the potential consequences of his actions on others as he makes his way to success. He may charge forth into a very dangerous territory without preparation or actual foresight, and this could lead him to great danger. Seven of Cups, how to resist temptation, how to quiet the burning desire for everything in the world. That which you want is an optical illusion. To draw the Seven of Cups in a reading shows that you need to clearly see the shadows and visions in your imagination, not only in your dreams but also in the real world. You should be careful of wishful thinking and be alert of the choices that you make. In one sense, the Seven of Cups indicates that you are a dreamer who is both excited and afraid of the things that you see in your unconscious. In another, the Seven of Cups is a reminder that although it is good to have dreams and wishes, it is even better to take action attaining those dreams. At one point in life, you will need to stop fantasizing and face the reality of life. If you are unable to make a decision due to the many options that are available, you should evaluate the advantages and disadvantages of each option so as to make the best choice. It is important to exercise caution when you are making your decision, as the card itself seems to show there is not only wonders and treasures that are available to you, but also monsters and shadows. There are some cases when the Seven of Cups may show that you are living in ways that are not necessarily grounded in real life, that your actions are guided by illusions that you feed yourself. Your ideas may be so up in the clouds, developed only on your imagination. As such, you will need to separate what is real and what is not so that you can make better choices. The Seven of Cups is also linked with temptation.